was white. In actual fact, they would all be wrong. It was Montana ice. I would suggest that even if you asked 100 Montanans during a particularly cold winter what colour it was, they would say white. After a brief discussion with my wife, she's actually colourblind, but I find it very hard to reach decisions on my own, I popped for the unmistakable colour of Brinja number 222. A slightly less pretentious description would be aubergine. Most people call it purple. My surroundings were now nearly complete. New desk, new chair, lovely view, and Brinja number 222 walls from Farrow and Ball. I placed my Mac on the desk and lovingly peeled off the see-through plastic that protects the screen, took a deep breath and sat down. Unfortunately, 27 inches of screen meant that my view was now completely obscured. Panic! Why didn't I think of that? The whole window was now blocked by this enormous piece of technology. I was forced to move the desk to the opposite wall. I now had a face full of Brinja number 222, and my back to the view. I would have to turn the chair at regular intervals to be inspired by my view. I should have bought the swivel chair. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to start my book. It's an autobiography, although I prefer the word memoir. I think it's from the French for memories. And that pretty much sums up what this book is going to be. It's a book about my French memories. No, it isn't. It's basically everything I can remember from my life. Now, the bad news is I don't have a particularly good memory. You know when somebody asks you what you did yesterday, and it takes you ages to remember, even though it was just one day ago? I can't believe this. It was just yesterday, you'll say before finally remembering. Well, I'm like that, except sometimes it never comes to me. I never remember what I did yesterday. Come to think of it, what did I do yesterday? Memoirs. It just sounds a lot sexier, doesn't it, than autobiography. Memoir. Autobiography. Not all words are better in French. Swimming pool, for example, is piscine, which obviously sounds like piss in. Do you piscine the piscine? That was about as funny as French lessons at school ever got for me. Only writing boob, B-O-O-B, on a calculator using 8008 in maths seemed funnier. We've borrowed lots of words from French to spice up the English language. Fiancé, encore, cul-de-sac, apéritif, chauffeur, pied-à-terre, déjà vu. Although you don't say them with a French accent, you say them with the English accent. Fiancé, uncle, cul-de-sac, apéritif, chauffeur, pied-à-terre, déjà vu. In fact, you could probably speak an entire English sentence with more French in it than English. I'm having an apéritif and hors d'oeuvres at my pied-à-terre in a cul-de-sac. After some mange-tout, I'm sending the kids to the crèche and having a ménage à trois with my fiancé and the au pair. Sounds like a great night. The good news is, I think there's more than enough in my patchy memory for the book. Whatever the French for patchy memory is, then that's what this book is. So where better to start than with my earliest memory? I was at a preschool called Stepping Stones in North London in a class called the Dolphins. I must have been about 4 years old. I remember it being some kind of a musical group. We were all in a circle with instruments. I might have had a xylophone, but I can't be sure. What I do remember, though, is that there was a distinct smell of shit in the room. At this age, kids are toilet trained, so whereas a couple of years previously at nursery or playgroup the smell of shit was a given, in this environment it was unwelcome. The simple fact was, a 4-year-old kid had taken a shit in his or her little pants. It wasn't me. I have never pooed in my pants, although as this is my earliest memory, I can't be sure. I remember trying to ignore the smell of shit and just get on with what I was doing, much like being on the top deck of a night bus. I smell poo, said the teacher. Cue hysterical giggling. Please tell me if you think it might be you. You're not in trouble. Nobody responded. A chubby boy holding a triangle looked slightly guilty to me. A blonde girl with a bongo also looked a bit sheepish. The teacher inquired again, no response. A third time she asked. You could cut the pungent atmosphere with some safety scissors. Still nobody came clean about their dirty little secret. Then the teacher announced something that I think is the reason that I remember this moment still to this day. She said that if nobody would own up, then everybody must, in turn, pull their pants down and prove it. Horror! I couldn't believe this. How humiliating. In fact, the thought of it nearly made me shit myself. A Chinese kid gasped and dropped his tambourine. One by one, around the circle, we had to stand up and reveal our bottoms to the music group. The tension may have damaged me for life. I remember this unbearable swelling of fear as my turn approached. I frantically scanned